I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor. This week, accelerating, revving up, and speeding into an auto loan crisis. The bears are setting up camp in the used car market, according to a widely watched gauge of the industry. In April, the Manheim Used Vehicle Value Index tumbled 14% to its lowest level since early 2021. Overall, the index is down about 23% from its high, and it has been in free fall ever since. What was the primary type of car that suffered the sharpest losses? You guessed it, electric vehicles. Anyway, as you will recall, used vehicles rocketed in the early days of the coronavirus pandemic due to supply shortages and changing demand. Because there was a lack of newer and cheaper cars and interest rates were historically low, motorists had to buy used automobiles. Of course, fast forward years later, and many drivers are drowning in negative equity and underwater loans. In the final quarter of 2023, the data showed that approximately 1/5 of new vehicle sales containing a trade-in maintained sub-zero equity. Additionally, negative equity values hit an all-time high of more than $6,000. Edmunds, an online resource center for all things automobiles, had this dire warning in the new report. A storm is brewing in the used car market as incentives and inventory continue to trickle back into the new vehicle market. With demand for near new vehicles on the decline, used car values are depreciating similarly to the way they did before the pandemic, and negative equity is rearing its ugly head. In other words, the boogeyman is coming. But this is not all. High interest rates are leading to record high average new car loans. Experian estimates that the average auto loan interest rate is close to 7.2% for new cars and nearly 12% for used cars. Others say it is actually closer to 10 and 14% respectively. Either way, new car loan rates have tripled in the last 3 years. Today, the average new car loan is north of $40,000. Delinquency rates are also steadily climbing. Flow into serious delinquency, 90 days or more, rose to 2.66% in the fourth quarter of 2023. Private estimates for subprime auto borrowers at least 60 days past due surpassed 6% late last year, another all-time high. There is another challenge for motorists: car insurance rates. Oh boy. If you have been monitoring the monthly changes in the Consumer Price Index, and why wouldn't you if you've been reading LibertyNation.com, you will notice auto insurance has spiked. In March, car insurance prices in the CPI rose 2.7% month over month according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. On a year-over-year basis, it advanced more than 22%. Cumulatively, auto insurance costs have increased 46% since January 2021. What's happening? Well, there are many issues at play. It's more expensive to repair cars because of supply chain shortages, higher labor costs, and new technologies inside these vehicles. Repair bills for electric vehicles are also through the roof, with many drivers reporting tens of thousands of dollars to fix minor damages. CNBC recently had a segment discussing the repair costs surrounding EVs.
One of the great promises of EVs is that their simplicity compared with gas-burning cars means they ought to cost less to maintain and repair. But they have come under scrutiny lately, as some owners describe being saddled with pricey repair bills, some totaling half the value of the vehicle. In spite of these horror stories, many industry insiders say the total cost of owning a car should fall as EVs become more popular. They use fewer moving parts, there's no oil to change, there are extremely simple transmissions. Wildly expensive EV repair bills may have less to do with EVs themselves, and more to do with the fact that the ones on the market today are 1. Essentially luxury vehicles, and 2 are made by either startups or relatively young companies that do not have mature supply chains and service networks.
Meanwhile, gasoline prices are, as of May 8th, higher than they were at the same time in the previous year. Many places in the United States, whether Arizona or Illinois, are flirting with $4 a gallon gas. Well, at least these folks are not in Canada, where the carbon tax is decimating drivers, households, businesses, and everyone residing in the Great White North. Affluent left-leaning politicians and out-of-touch mainstream media networks often dismiss the public's attitude on the economy. Consider House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries' comments on 60 Minutes.
But 2/3 of voters think the economy was better under President Trump.
Well, that's just not the case, and we have to do a better job of laying out the facts that the economy has dramatically improved under the leadership of President Joe Biden.
But if those are the facts, why don't voters believe it? Is that a communication problem?
Voters understand that more needs to be done, that there are challenges that remain.
Heck, President Joe Biden is telling everyone just how great this economy is every chance he gets.
Bidenomics is working. When I took office, the pandemic was raging and our economy was reeling. Supply chains are broken, millions of people unemployed, hundreds of thousands of small businesses on the verge of closing after so many had already closed. Literally hundreds of thousands on the verge of closing. Today, the U.S. has the highest economic growth rate leading the world economies since the pandemic, the highest in the world.
Do they want to know why so many Americans are sour on the economy despite the data? The hiccups prevalent through the auto sector, be it gas-powered cars or electric automobiles, are further symptoms of the broader sentiment. The American people simply hate today's inflationary economy. That's it from this week. Please read my full Swamponomics column on the pages of LibertyNation.com, and be sure to check out my previous Swamponomics TV videos and interviews. Thank you. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.